Hello, and thank you for coming to the December 12th council meeting. It is 7:30 p.m. This is our CC. Will you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Barker.
Here.
Mr. Bilkey.
Here.
Ms. Brandt.
Here.
Ms. Tully.
Here.
And Mr. Ventura.
Here.
And now I ask Tom O'Brien from the American Legion chaplain to lead us in the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
With bowed heads, let us pray. Almighty God, Father of all mankind and judge over nations, we pray thee to guide our work in this evening's meeting. As the Christmas season is now upon us, lest we forget that this is a time we celebrate the birth of Jesus, Son of God. Let us be ever mindful of the true meaning of this celebration. Let us pray for those who serve the people and guard the public welfare, that by thy blessing they may be enabled to discharge their duties honestly and well. We pray for our leaders, that by thy help they may observe the strictest justice, keep alive the fires of freedom, strive earnestly for the spirit of democracy, and preserve untarnished our loyalty to our country and to thee. And O God of mercy, we ask thy blessing and comfort for our neighbors who may be suffering mental or physical disabilities. Cheer them and bring them thy blessing of health and happiness during this holiday season and throughout the year. Amen. And now please join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And a Merry Christmas to all.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Merry Christmas to you as well. All right, first up is the minutes of October 24th and November 14th. Do I have a motion accepting?
I make a motion to accept the both sets of minutes as submitted by the clerk of council.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are accepted. Next up, we have a proclamation, but before I do the proclamation, I want to give a little explanation of something we're going to do starting, obviously, in today's meeting and moving forward. I want to start recognizing people or groups in the community that have done good things or need to be recognized by a family member or, you know, whether it's a teacher or anything of that nature. So we're going to get something on the website here probably before the end of the year to start nominating folks for that. And once a month, I'd like to have a proclamation recognizing someone who does good things, whether it be family related, good things for the community. Maybe it could be, you know, one of the sports teams or a bowling team or the history team or whatever the case may be, to get them up here and at least show some gratitude for some of the things they've accomplished in their life or things they've done. So today begins that, and I'm going to start with this one right now. This is a proclamation recognizing the 70th birthday of Mr. Borgos. Whereas the longevity of life is a blessing for an individual and for a community which benefits from knowledge, creativity, and experience this individual brings to all. And whereas the city of Macedonia recognizes with respect and admiration the contribution to his family and the children he educated. And whereas we recognize 34 loving years to Debbie, the devotion to his 2 children, Adam and Sarah, 30 years as an educator specializing in U.S. history at Garfield Heights, 12 years serving customers at Best Buy, lover of Abe Lincoln, Williamsburg, Hale Farm, and desserts. And now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Nicholas L. Molnar, Mayor of the City of Macedonia, honor Mr. Borgos for his long life and prosperity and wish him many more.
Very nice.
At least 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes being the standard.
My wife Debbie, Sarah, my daughter, my son-in-law Kevin, and my son Adam. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Read them. Next up, we have public comments, and the first one up is Santa Claus. Santa Claus here? No?
You must have left. You got called
Must have
away.
left. And Chris Kringle, is he here? No? All right,
Couldn't wait.
thank you. So we're gonna move into pending or new legislation. First on the agenda is ordinance 92, 2019.
I'd like to offer ordinance 92, 2019 for its third reading by title only, please.
Second.
Oh, okay.
An ordinance providing for the 2020 annual appropriations.
And what is your pleasure?
I move we pass and post ordinance 92, 2019 according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 92 passes. Director Veras, would you like to give a little synopsis of the 2020 budget and where we've come from to get to this point?
Well, we started mid-summer discussing the five-year capital plan. We reviewed debt for the city, and because the five-year capital plan discusses not only what we're gonna buy, but how we're gonna pay for it, whether it be cash or borrowing. We then had a few finance committee meetings, and this 2020 annual appropriations, which I thank council for passing, because it's always a good financial tool, and it's good to have it prior to the year you're going into, instead of waiting till the 3 months down the road and passing basically a 9-month budget. So I appreciate that, and it's a conservative budget, keeping revenues flat and expenses are increased based upon health insurance rate increases and any other unique item that might have come up. So again, thank you for passing that tonight.
Thank you. Moving on to ordinance 96.
I would like to offer ordinance number 96, 2019 for its second reading by title only.
Second.
An ordinance amending Chapter 1179 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Macedonia relative to sign regulations.
Ordinance 102.
Before we move to 102, for ordinance 96 with the signs, remind you that there is a public hearing on January 9th at 7:15 p.m. here in council room.
Thank you.
Sorry.
All right, I move to offer ordinance 102, 2019 for its first, second, and third readings by title only.
Second.
Wow, that was unanimous. All in favor?
I didn't actually get who that
You
was,
got
but that's
everybody on
okay.
that
I got
one.
everybody on that one.
Must be an exciting one.
Free.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council for the installation of an electronic device charging station.
So basically what this is there's a charging station with 100 ports that we applied for a grant to get this thing for free to put into our rec center. You can put your phone inside of the port, it will charge your phone, so if you weren't using your phone or wanted to charge it while you were using the facility in some capacity, you could put your phone in there. There's been some talks about those things being hacked. I mentioned it in our caucus room that our IT director has a fix for that can prevent that from happening, and we will be implementing that as well. But the key to all this is a free thing from NOPEC, and we do definitely appreciate that. Any other discussion? What is your pleasure?
You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay, ready, set? I move to pass and post ordinance number
Second.
102, 2001, 2019, and the same according to law.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Ordinance 102 passes. Ordinance 103.
I move to offer ordinance number 103, 2019 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
1 second. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with the Summit County Public Defenders Commission for the representation of indigent persons charged with violations of the codified ordinances of the City of Macedonia.
Director Gaddetti, can you give an explanation, please?
Sure, this is annual legislation that the city passes in order to provide for those who cannot afford legal counsel in certain criminal matters with legal counsel in Stowe.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the amounts have remained unchanged since last year.
Thank you. And what's your pleasure?
I move that we pass and post ordinance number 103, 2019 to the same according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 103 passes. Ordinance 104.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 104, 2019 for its first, second, and third reading through title only, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Summit Soil and Water Conservation District and the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District for assistance in implementing soil and water conservation measures.
Mr. Gelati, can you give an explanation on this, please?
Yes, I can, Mayor. As we discussed in the work session, this is an annual housekeeping piece of legislation. It keeps the city legal, and it doesn't cost the city anything. Summit County provides the city and the service department with various storm water educational type items that are required of the city by the EPA, and this is a way to get some free help for those items to keep us legal.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance 104, 2019, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 104 passes. Are there any other motions or legislative actions?
I'd like to make a motion to cancel the 12/26 council meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay. I'm just joking.
No,
You just want to
You're on-
hang
you have
on?
the right to
I
vote.
want to hang on one more time, one more meeting, Jim.
Mr. Mayor, I also would like to add resolution number 105, 2019 to the agenda and waive the 48-hour rule.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask that resolution number 105, 2019 be read in its entirety.
A resolution of commendation and gratitude to councilpersons Shane Barker and Kevin Bilkey for their years of service to the City of Macedonia. Whereas councilperson Shane Barker and Kevin Bilkey will be concluding their tenure of service to the city this year, and whereas they should be recognized for the countless hours spent by them for the good of the city and all the city's residences and businesses, and whereas they saw fit to answer the call of public office fully well knowing the nature of the task they faced and did so energetically and enthusiastically. And whereas the mayor, the department heads, all of council, and all of the employees of the City of Macedonia, on behalf of all the residents and the businesses of the city, wish to extend their thanks and appreciation to Mr. Barker and Mr. Bilkey. Now therefore be resolved by the Council of the City of Macedonia, Summit County, State of Ohio, that the mayor, all of council, the department heads, and all the employees of the City of Macedonia, on behalf of the residents and the businesses of the city, hereby extend their thanks and appreciation to Shane Barker and Kevin Bilkey for their service to the city that they provided as Macedonia Council members.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd ask that we pass and post according to law resolution 105.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Correspondence from the clerk.
I do have several. This is from Diana Martin, who's it's directed to Director Angela Manley and her rec staff. I joined the Macedonia Rec Center just a little over a month ago, and I want to thank you all for providing a welcoming and spotlessly clean facility. It is a pleasure to come to the rec center. Thanks to all of you. And this is from Debbie Marcus. Santa came to our house last night, and my granddaughter's reaction was priceless. Santa and all his helpers were just perfect. Thank you for this wonderful service. My girls will be having an amazing Christmas memory. Can't wait till next year. Obviously, that's in regard to the fire department.
Thank you. Must be those new bathrooms, huh? Just an update with the rec center. We opened the ladies section of the new bathrooms that were built. We are projected, hopefully, we're very, very close because I spoke with our building commissioner today. We're hoping to have the men's section open by the end of the year. So we're trending very close to that, and that's something that obviously getting this project done is gonna be a really big deal for all of us, and having that complete for the men's and ladies' rooms to have space and nice new clean showers to utilize will be a very, very big deal for us, so good news. No, that restoration will take place after. I think we need to just breathe for a moment and absorb the new facility. Second thing I want to bring up is the Santa delivery. I want to thank our fire department for assisting Santa with that. I know he appreciates that, and more than that, I know the children really, really love that. Just seeing the things on Facebook and seeing my own children light up when Santa gets off that truck and says their name, I'll tell you what, it gives me the chills every time, and it's an awesome thing you guys do, and you should be very, very proud of that, and I thank you more than I can tell you. Our tree lighting ceremony was Sunday. Thank you, Director Manley, and all the staff that helped to put that together. Specifically, Ronnie Fearum is one of our service workers, spent countless hours working on the lights outside with our IT director, Kyle Collins, to get that thing together. And also Jason Check, one of our service workers, put a lot of time in there too. And I want to thank them because those gentlemen put a lot of work into getting those lights up. And I've had several calls thanking and saying how beautiful it looks. And you know, that's the good stuff that makes me feel good about the hard work that these guys put in to make that happen. So understand that took a lot of work to get there, just as much as the fire department does with Santa. I don't think folks really realize how much time and effort goes into these things, but please thank them for doing that if you see them, because it's really a big deal for me, and they definitely appreciate that. So thank you, gentlemen, and Director Nadavanch for your crews for making that happen.
I also want to thank the snowman and the Christmas tree.
The snowman and the Christmas tree were a big deal too. The snowman was a hit while folks were standing in line. So and the Christmas tree. So we'll build on that as time goes on. I think as years go on, we're gonna do more and get better at it. So it's something to be proud of.
Also, I just want to add that the bench that Santa used to greet all the little ones, that bench was put together in less than 48 hours.
And that was, again, Ronnie Fearum, who is a master at doing things like that, and he did an excellent job on that. So
Is that bench gonna stay out there so people can come take pictures on it?
probably through the end of the
Through
year.
the end of the year?
And then we'll pull it out of there and reuse it, so.
Okay,
yeah.
we should tell people they can take pictures. You know, people are always looking for places to do Christmas pictures, so that would be a good place.
Sorry to correct you, Councilman Ventura, but that was less than 6 hours.
Thank you. I didn't
He
want.
had the design in his head the whole time, but actually.
I was
putting
going to say 24,
to the
but I
work.
didn't want to.
For 5 of the hours finding
I
the
didn't want
tree,
to understate it.
finding the right tree to cut down.
Yeah, we gotta go far and wide for that.
You did a great job.
He
6 is
truly
less
is
than
one of
48,
Santa's
so.
elves.
The next thing I want to touch on is the garbage increase. So we have contracts with the garbage companies. We had an option to extend it 5 years. We did talk about this in the meeting. I got a call from someone that was upset because I think it had gone up a nominal amount. I believe it was like $1 and some change.
Yeah, right around
And
there.
I think over the next 5 years, it goes up like $1 each year. Was that about right? But to put that into perspective, we put it onto our website. If you have any questions about it, it'll be on there. If you go to macedonia.oh.us, there's a slider on the top. It'll say garbage increase, and you can click on that, and it'll give you more information regarding that. The next thing I'm very, very excited to announce tonight is that we have gotten some significant funding from, well, it's through AMATS, that is actually from CMAQ, which is Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality. We are getting For the Ravenna Road and Shepherd Road intersection improvement, $1.369 million to make that improvement. Now, that one is a collaboration that I signed off with and we put in for these funds with Oakwood, Macedonia, obviously, Twinsburg, and Glenwood. So that's a huge thing. That talk has gone on for countless years, as long as I've been on council and in the role I'm in now, so about 12 years, and it's nice to know that that project's gonna get done. There is a small portion that we're gonna have to add to that, but the bulk of that funding is now being paid for through a grant, and thank you to our engineering department, Mr. Tolati, for making that happen. Even greater than that one, the biggest one that I'm most excited about is we have funding now through this same grant for the Highland Road and Valley View Road intersection to have turning lanes. They are giving us $1.8 million, which nearly funds most of it. I believe it's 80%, correct? So we've talked about this for quite some time. Councilor Bilkey, I know we've talked about this on the floor many times, and we know that that intersection is atrocious. The one catch to all this is they're not doing this till 2025. So we got the funding, but what they started to do is they're planning far ahead because there's so many dollars and what they want to do to get things done. But we have light at the end of the tunnel. This is huge for us. I know that with the dollars we have for our road funds and what we're doing, could never support getting this done. So again, Mr. Gelati, I thank you for your efforts to make that happen. And this is a really big deal for us, but change is coming, so thank you.
Let's see it when you're exercising.
Next thing I want to touch on is one of our officers, if you weren't already aware, got struck by a motorist while handling a traffic accident. I talk about this every time in my mayor's report about distracted driving. Distracted driving is not just talking on your cell phone, texting, looking at Facebook. It's also when you're traveling down a road and you see flashing lights, we all have the tendency to be a gooseneck and turn and look. I can only assume what happened with this one, and I don't know whether the individual was on the phone or was looking at the lights, but the individual ran over a cone that was a zone to keep people out of it in the opposing direction and struck one of our officers. And I can tell you that I watched that video and that one shook me to my core. If you're traveling on the road and you see flashing lights, keep your eyes straight ahead on where you have to be, because I think, and I can assume on this one, that she may have been looking to see what's going on or on her phone or something, but one would have to assume you were distracted, because running over a cone in the opposite direction and then striking an officer, you obviously weren't looking in front of you when you were driving. That is something that, to me, that is, it shook me. So thankfully, he had surgery and he's recovering and he's in good spirit. Chief, do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, Brandon had surgery, I think Monday, Tuesday, I lose track of dates. I spoke to him today. He's in good spirits. He has a plate and 5 screws. He's doing well. Next Tuesday, he goes to the doctor and to see how the surgery went, make sure everything's going well. It's 5 weeks before he starts his physical therapy. So he's well on his way. He did want me to say thank you for all the thoughts, prayers, cards, everything like that. He said it really did mean a lot to him. So he did want me to convey that message.
And thank God that wasn't worse than it was. As I said, he was struck. That lady was moving, I can only assume by the video, at least 20 miles an hour.
At least.
At least, and it was frightening.
I think we all know that the rule is if there are flashing lights, you are to move a lane away to the right or to the left, not next to the flashing lights. And we see it all the time. If I see one more accident on Route 8 going south, because everybody's so busy looking at the one that's over there, they cause another one.
Next thing on my list is I just would ask that we keep Chuck Laparo in your prayers. He's in the hospital. He's a longtime active member of the community and
Watchdog.
The watchdog. So keep him in your prayers. Another thing I want to speak on is the ways that we communicate. One of the goals I had in my first year is to improve communication. So here's just a few ways that we communicate. We have the newsletter, we have Nordonia Hills News, we have Community Focus, we have Nixle, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, macedonia.oh.us, the My Macedonia app, and eMessenger. If I'm not hitting you on one of those, let me know where else I got to hit, because I'm doing my best to hit every angle I possibly can. We're still going to improve on what we're doing. We're still going to try and get better at our communication. There's a wealth of information, and we try to hit the high points and get the things that we feel are appropriate out to the public. So if we're missing something, or you think there's another avenue I haven't listed out of those 10 or 12, let me know, and I will make it happen.
Are we on Tinder?
No.
Tinder.
Wow. And finally, and last but certainly not least, I want to thank Mr. Bilkey and Mr. Barker for their time up here. We've worked and we've accomplished a lot, Kevin, you and I, in the past 4 years with the other council members, and Mr. Barker, we've worked together for many years on this dais, and I appreciate your time up here and serving with me, so I appreciate that and thank you.
Enjoyed everyone with.
Do you need a town crier? I got a loud voice. I can bring it to that home.
That's our new avenue.
Yeah.
Kevin
You
yelling
need
at
a
people.
bell ringer from the Rotary Club at Giant Eagle. That'd be perfect for you. All right, moving on to committee reports.
Parks and Rec Committee didn't have a meeting in December. Our next meeting is January 15th.
Any other committee reports? Hearing none, department reports. Director Nottingham.
Thank you, Mayor. As you came in this evening, you may have seen the lights blinking outside. That is not a mistake or a glitch. They are now synced to music. So when you leave here tonight, or if you're out with the family driving around, feel free to stop up 7 days a week from the hours of 6 to 11 and tune your radio stations into 101.9. You can sit here and watch the lights go to the music that we put on for display. Also with Santa's chair that is also going to be here, and that could be a nice area for a family photo if you'd like by the tree. So that's going to stay there, and the lights are going to be on all through the holiday season and into the new year. So we're very proud of the lighting this year. Everything went off very well, and as the mayor said, we're hoping to expound on that in the future and keep building off of that. Leaf collection status update. We are currently on our 6th round. We had finished the south end of town, and that's everything south of 82 with the exception of the mains. Those are always done last. We try to keep up with our website to notify where we're going into zones, but we are moving so fast through them, it's kind of hard to always keep going out there to update. As long as weather allows, we're going to continue coming back around. We try to tell people that, we had a deadline of November 25th. That was our final round. Then we did a courtesy round. Now I'm calling this one our second courtesy round. So, if we have to keep going, which is fine. As long as the weather cooperates, we're going to continue going around. We did something different this year with our zones. We made 4 zones in the city. We operated 3 machines because our 4th one did go down on us, and it went very well. We were able to be out there the whole time collecting, and everything was done in record time so far to this date. But we said we will, as long as weather cooperates, we'll go back around yet again for a 3rd courtesy round with only 1 machine. And getting on the subject of snowfall, it's going to happen here eventually, but please, while we have the weather, make sure your mailboxes are firmly secured. So as our trucks come down the road, we don't knock them over with the slush that comes off of our plows. And also with our salt storage, people have asked, how are you doing? We are great with our salt. We are still on our storage bank from last season, have not even touched anything that we've ordered yet for this year. And also I'm happy to say that this is our 2nd year running a carbide blade on our plows. Now, we're hoping to get a 3rd year out of them. And what that means is, in the previous years, we've used rubber blades and steel, which we've had to go into the shop during winter events, snow events, and change at an average of 3 times a year. Now we are not changing a blade while we're on the road. So that means we're on the road even longer now. So there's no downtime, because not only one person will come off the road, but a 2nd would have to come off because of the weight of the plow blades to put them on to assist. So that's been a great purchase that we've made. And the cost of those blades are equivalent to 3 blades that we would buy every year per truck. So now this year that we're operating on is free of cost from what we spent last year. And we're hoping to get a 3rd year out of them even, as long as everything goes well.
But even greater than that is having the guys on the road and not in the shop having them replaced. So
Exactly,
there's
so
a
it allows
savings
more
there.
time on the road for the clearing. So very happy and very pleased with the way that those have been working. And with the new paved roads that we have, it's a lot easier on the trucks as well. So that's all I have, and everyone have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you next year, 2020.
Thank you. Mr. Gelati.
Sure. Mayor already discussed the 2 grants that we got. So we know the construction is a ways off, but this really is good news, because without these grants, these projects, they may never happen. So this is good news. We're very happy about that. And then I would just like to say thank you to the service department. The Christmas lights in front of the City Hall look fantastic when I pulled in here tonight. And thank you, Chief Ripley, for organizing Santa. My kids loved it, and I know all the kids do. So, thank you. End of report.
Thank you. Director Manley.
Thank you, Mayor. This time of year, we are so happy to offer promotions at the rec center for the holidays and also to help people kick off their New Year's resolutions. We offer gift cards. So we are selling a ton of gift cards right now. It makes a great gift if you know anybody who wants to come to the rec center, wants to walk the indoor track, wants to use the pool, sign their kids up for swim lessons. There's a lot of things that those gift cards can be used towards. We do have some specials. So our monthly memberships are running for $20 during the months of December and January. People love those. That's a $15 a month savings. That gives you unlimited access to all of our 350 plus fitness classes that we offer a month. Gives you access to the entire facility. So all of the equipment, the classes, the pool areas, you would have access to that. And then during the month of January, it has not been 5 minutes.
Wrong chief.
During the month of January, we will be offering our annual memberships a 13th month free. So it's a good time of year to join or renew if it is that time for you. And if you have any questions or would like a tour, we also have free 5-day passes if you are not a previous member. So you can also come give us a shot for 5 days for free. So we hope to see some new faces. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Veras.
Thank you, Mayor. My report again deals with the conversion of the water M&E and will be in the messenger.
Thank you. Chief Ripley.
Thank you, Mayor. I think it was close to 5 minutes, Angela, but story for a different day. I can happily report that Santa is heading back to the North Pole as we speak. Another very successful year. We have a lot of very good children in our community. That includes Macedonia and Northfield Center, where Santa delivered. Was very busy and very successful. I also want to mention we did have a house fire Tuesday morning about 2:15 in Northfield Center. No one was injured. Everybody got out safe. No firefighter injuries, so that's a good day. I want to remind people that that fire may have been caused, we're not sure yet, by outdoor Christmas decorations. So please pay attention, and best electrical safety is important. I'd also like to thank Miss Bryant for the cookies.
Yes, thank you.
And then I'd also like to thank Shane and Kevin for their time on council, and it's been a pleasure working with you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
If any of you want to forfeit those cookies, I'm your guy. Chief Golden.
Thank you, Mayor. Probably most residents have noticed the traffic coming off the 271 southbound exit ramp to Route 82. This first happened Monday morning. As soon as I learned of it, I immediately contacted the city engineer, Joe Gelati, and we reached out to ODOT to help alleviate the problem. Joe kind of explained what's going on, but basically they opened up all those lanes that they had ready to go, except the overhead signs weren't there. So they are using temporary, I don't know what they're...
The electrical changeable signs
yeah,
flash the messages.
Which a lot of people are missing, and you can go out there today and the line's backed up to the interstate at least. I had signal service come out to make sure the timing was correct, because we had several complaints that the timing was off and only a handful of cars were getting through. They checked, the timing is appropriate. They clean the lenses, which is something they do periodically to make sure that it can see when vehicles are there. We're doing everything we can with ODOT. ODOT sent us some images today of what the signs are going to look like. Joe, they haven't stated an installation date?
No, they're hopeful to have the signs up next week, the overhead green lane assignment signs. That's what they've told us. They're hopeful to have it next week, so we will see.
Yeah, but I think we've dealt with 17 crashes in 2 days up there, not counting the ones that didn't want to wait for us. They just decided to exchange information and drive off. Vinny and Shane are well aware of crashes on the interstate, very dangerous. So we've been dealing with that. Everything seems to be in order. I've been watching it periodically. I've run the route. Excuse me, I know Joe has run the route. It's not on us, folks. It's ODOT District 12. Cauga County is in charge of it, and there was a dilemma that the construction company had to deal with, so it should get better as time goes on. I'm assuming when those overhead signs go up, things will get better. But a lot of folks are looking at their GPS, which is not caught up yet to that, and that's going to always be an issue. So just be careful when you're getting off at that ramp. Continue south and get off at Route 8. There's nobody there. So, you know, just, yeah. And lastly, thank you, Shane. Thank you, Kevin. You guys have done a fantastic job. It was very easy working with you guys, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And the good news, for those of you who travel 271 daily, is all lanes are open. It's just when you're coming south, it's very confusing because you don't know. These 2 lanes are 480. These lanes are 271. That lane's I mean, it is very confusing. But the massive traffic jam from Harvard down is gone. It's awesome. It's nice to see. Thank you.
Dr. Goodetti.
Just a quick note regarding the JED. If council may recall, several weeks ago, you passed legislation to add a little over 21 acres into the JED near the current Spitzer dealership from property that Spitzer currently owns. The JED board did meet last week, I believe on December 5th. The JED board did pass their resolution. The township had already passed legislation as well. So that 21 plus acres is officially within the JED, and any future development, of course, will contribute to the income collected by the city.
Thank you. Any unfinished business?
I would just like to thank council members Bilkey and Barker for their service. Kevin, you were instrumental in kind of helping welcoming me into working with the city more and encouraging me to run for council. I've really enjoyed serving with you. I think we share the same passion for the city, but we come at it from different angles, and we try to go for the same goals. Shane, it was great working with you with the charter group, and then I'm glad that you decided to put your name in the hat to come in and fill our empty space. And it's been great getting to know you. It's been great besting you in debate, and I wish you guys the best of luck. I hope you have fun as a dad and a husband and a great PTA guy and a great neighbor and friend. And I hope you enjoy your retirement and have spent some time up in the air. And thank you very much, guys.
I'd like to say thank you before I forget to Chris Hall. Several issues have arisen with various residents, and they usually come to me because they know I had an issue with the neighboring on my street. And Chris makes the action happen, goes out and talks to the person who is violation of our ordinances, and it is amazing how those things are cleaned up and taken care of. So I want to say thanks to Chris. I too would like to say thank you, gentlemen. It's been interesting. We know Jessica made the comment, if we don't always agree, that's what council's about. Everyone should have their own opinion. Everyone should be able to voice their opinion and to have respect for that opinion and work together to come to an agreement. I appreciate the work that you have done over the years. And Shane, I'll look for you in the sky. The other thing is stay engaged in some way, shape, or form. Not just PTA. You know how many council committee meetings we have. There are different things you can stay engaged. I'd also like to welcome our new council members, Mr. Garvis and Mr. Finley. One of the things I always say to people is when you get elected, you are not an employee of the city. You are not an employee of the mayor and the administration. You are not a king. You are not a queen. You are a servant of those people who sit in this audience and those who watch this on TV. I look forward to working with you.
Again, there's not much more to say, but I have also enjoyed working with both of you. The difference in opinions and the perspectives has greatly educated me into how I look at things and how business is done behind this dais and in that work session. It's been a great experience. I hope you two both have a continued experience of life that brings you some happiness. and also the two new councilmen. Welcome aboard. We'll see you next month, and you're swearing in, and we'll just have two more differences of opinions, then just like we all have here, we'll agree to disagree and move. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Any new business? Before I forget, I need to make one quick statement. I forgot to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I think it's important to say that, so.
Also, happy Hanukkah for those that celebrate Hanukkah. If there's nothing else, I'd like to make a motion to move into executive session for personnel, inviting in the mayor as well as our law director.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, I'm
Aye.
sorry, hold on. We need a roll call.
Yeah, we do.
And just to be clear, it's pursuant to 121-22G1 to consider the employment or compensation of a public employee or official.
He always has
Thanks,
to
Mark.
add the particulars.
Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Mr. Bilkey?
Yes.
Ms. Brandt?
Yes.
Ms. Tully?
Yes,
And Mr. Ventura?
Yes.
when we are done with that, we will just adjourn, so there will be no more official business. Thank you.
Go with it. Don't share that.